Ladies and gentlemen, this is a couple of hours ago. Daily Mail, Republicans call for Adam Schiff to be removed from Congress over Durham report. Now, this, by the way, is months after McCarthy formally kicked Schiff Swalwell off Intelligence Committee. So that was in January of this year. And now we have the Durham probe report, and I've done some segments on this, and people seem to enjoy them. This is becoming a national story, especially because of the George Santos fiasco obsession of Democrats. So George Santos lied to his constituents, and so he's a New York Republican, lied to his constituents, but he didn't lie to the country for 7 years. He didn't go on MSNBC and CNN 200 to 300 times and lie about intel reports. There was never a reason to go after Trump. And so Congressman Schiff said, I'm not backing down. Trump was the most unethical president. What did he do that was unethical? He brought Americans home from never-ending military conflict, the same conflict that never-Trumpers and especially Democrats also got them into. So he brought Americans home. We had record low poverty with Trump. We had record highs in household median income. Doha Agreement, Abraham Accords, first president to step foot in North Korea. First president to step foot in North Korea to begin détente between North and South Korea. First president to do that. Could you imagine if Hillary Clinton or President Obama did that? They'd get a Nobel Peace Prize. With Trump, it was one day, and he didn't even get the credit that he deserved. It was unbelievable. It was a profound foreign policy achievement. So they say that Trump was unethical. I'm still waiting to hear all the horrible things that he did. What did Trump do other than preside over a fantastic economy? We had, like I said, record low poverty, record highs in household median income under Trump. Real wages were up. Real wages are down now. Inflation on food and rent and energy is through the roof. And they say inflation's going down. It's like, well, it went up to 8 to 9%. So if it goes down, these are all Pyrrhic victories. You still have high inflation, and then now you have bank runs because you flooded the country full of $10 trillion in fiscal and monetary stimulus. Shutting down economic activity wasn't Trump's policy. That was the policy of Democratic governors. And he was accused of something he didn't do. So how is it unethical for him to defend himself? I'm still waiting when people talk about democracy and the Republic and the Constitution. What did Trump do? I want to know, what did he do? The thing was stormy that New York, Manhattan district attorneys suddenly found some kind of indictment. There was no federal case. The FEC actually did fine Clinton and the DNC for purchasing the Steele dossier with campaign funds. All that money siphoned from Bernie Sanders supporters after Bernie Sanders was railroaded in his own primary. So Democrats cheat Bernie Sanders, then blame Russia, then blame Trump, and Trump is the unethical person for having nothing to do with anything that he's been accused of. So I don't get that. But anyway, the Durham report showed that there was never a reason to investigate Trump, that the United States government was leveled against him. You might not there are people who don't like Trump's personality. Fine. Find a human being on this planet who's accused of something he didn't do, and then judge his reaction or his temperament. What if President Obama or Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden was accused of things they didn't do? We know from Hunter's emails there are things he did. We know from Clinton with private servers that she did transfer top secret and special access program intelligence onto servers outside the U.S. government. Schiff was very integral in defending her then. And so you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where Adam Schiff, for 6 to 7 years, since 2016, and 2017. It is now 2023. He has gone on, he used his power in the House Intel for endless investigations into Trump based on zero intel. There was never any intelligence. The intelligence community is not meant to be leveled at a United States president. It is not meant to be leveled inward. It is supposed to be used to protect the country from adversaries abroad. And if there are certain organizations within the United States, fine, but Trump was not guilty of anything. Okay, he was never, and I was saying this in 2017, 2018, the man was set up and framed. And so it's always the people in this day and age in our country who are engaged in the most violent, despicable tactics who are talking about morality. Okay, if you want to talk about morality, Trump is has a greater grasp of morality. It's a moral imperative to vote for Trump if you don't want never-ending military conflict. We are 90 seconds to midnight, according to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. We are closer than ever to a nuclear confrontation. Not Trump's fault. That's Biden's foreign policy. You can't just, shrug your shoulders and wave your hands in the air and say, well, it's not our fault. There was an invasion. Yeah, what did you do to stop the invasion? Even Macron wanted to go in France, there were European leaders trying to perhaps negotiate some kind of settlement before the invasion. Democrats just said, you know what, let it happen. Biden's foreign policy was just let it happen. This way we could blame the Kremlin for all the terrible economic numbers that he eventually had. Biden flooded the country full of 200 million barrels of strategic petroleum reserves, artificially reducing the price of oil, okay? But then when the price of oil goes back up, inevitably it will, then what happens to inflation? It'll go back up again. Then what do they do with interest rates? You just can't keep raising interest rates. You get to a point where you're going to have a huge problem with bank runs again. And we're on that situation. We have that scenario where there are going to be more bank runs in the future. But you have a situation with Adam Schiff where the Washington Post, with 40,000 lies that they tallied with Trump, didn't tally one lie with Schiff or with Biden. All the lies leveled at Trump, it's not a problem. It's just not a big deal. When they accuse Trump of something he didn't do, oh well, not a big deal at all. And so, but it's like everybody knows what that feels like. If you've been in middle school or high school or whatever, you know what being accused of something you didn't do by a teacher, or like just the feeling by a friend or in a relationship, being accused of something you didn't do. He was accused of something he didn't do. The entire American political establishment obsessed over a lie. Okay, they call Trump, his viewpoints on certain things, a lie, a grandiose lie. But what about the lies that they tell? How is George Santos an obsession with Democrats and Adam Schiff is just, a noble and righteous congressman standing up against Trump? How do you delineate, how do you differentiate between George Santos, who didn't lie to the country, who didn't help create a new McCarthy-era Red Scare? How is this person a menace to democracy, George Santos, but Adam Schiff, who took the country towards this path, this McCarthy-era Red Scare, Cold War path, blaming Trump for something he didn't do endlessly, and yet he shouldn't be removed from Congress? So now you have Anna Paulina Luna with the resolution that's going to hit McCarthy's desk very soon. And the second that they try to expel George Santos, McCarthy will do the same with Adam Schiff. So it'll be very interesting. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen. Go to hagoodman.com to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, and other publications Thank you so very, very much. My Patreon link is below. So is the super thanks. Thank you.